Hi Saris, hi everybody. Moira here from Moira Barnes Sales Consultancy, Selling with Heart. If you've not met me, you will do because I love networking and I love going to events. So I'm sure we'll meet at some savvy event in the future if we haven't met yet. My business was launched a year ago, so I'm celebrating a year this September in 2019. And I am doing this video today to give you some tips about making more money. Because money can frighten us all. It does. It frightens us. It really frightens me. A year into my business, I'm worried, am I going to make enough money? But what I'm going to do today is just share some very simple tips with you that will help, that's guaranteed to help you make more money if you implement them and if you're consistent with them, which is really, really important. So the first tip that I want to give you today is that you need to make your customer experience really easy. What do I mean by that? Well, you need to make it easy for them to find you. And how do they find you? Well, you need to get out there and network. And I know not a lot of people like networking, but look at this amazing group that Nicola created back at the beginning of 2018. How many of us now buy and sell from each other? Because we've got to know each other and we make it easy for each other to find the products, the services that we want because we network and we meet up and we're part of the Facebook group. So make it easy for your customers to find you by doing some networking. And whether that is if you're business to business facing or if you're business to consumer, networking can mean being at fairs, being at an event where you know that your consumers are going to be. So just make sure that you're getting out and about. Then you also need to make it easy for them to transact with you. So whether that is they're directed to your website or they're directed to your Facebook page or your Instagram feed, make sure that your About You information is filled out. I don't know whether this is just a me thing, but if I get, there's loads and loads of being invited to like people's Facebook pages at the moment. And when I get them, the first thing I do is I scroll down to the About You section of that Facebook page. And if it's not filled out, then I just decline the invitation because if they can't be bothered to tell me a little bit about what they are in a very small snapshot, then I'm not interested in finding out more, scrolling through, wasting my time. I want it to be really easy for me. Harsh it might be, but it's true. Get that About You section filled out. And again, even on your Instagram feed, in your bio, make sure that you get the information that's going to take them through where they can transact with you. I have just started using something called, is it Camping? Sarah Phillips put me onto it, and actually it's really useful, and it means that there's one link on my bio, but that link then takes you through to all my different ways of transacting with me, whether it's my Acuity feed, my Facebook page, Instagram, my Twitter, all these different places. It takes it's a really easy way to direct people to you, or to to even to your blog. I mentioned there about Acuity scheduling. This is something that I use at the moment. I am looking at other alternatives, but that is a way that people, rather than having to do the usual tennis match of back and forward, can you do this date, can you do that date? My Acuity scheduling program allows people to go in and access my calendar, which is synced with my Google Calendar, which is synced with kind of things that are going on with school or, with my husband if he's away. So it all links up so that there's times there that are free, times that are blocked out, and people are able to book time with me and they can pay online via Stripe. They get a welcome email from me saying, thanks very much for getting in touch. Thanks very much for your payment. See you at this workshop on this date. These are the directions. And then after they've been to either a meeting with me or a workshop with me, they then get a follow-on email that thanks them for their time and tells them that I'm going to be in touch if I set them any homework or if we set any goals that we want to work on together. So for me, that works really well. I know that Facebook have a system now that you can connect appointments to. I've not tried it out myself. I am looking into it, but that's a possibility as well. So you get the nice Book Now feature, and obviously it's free. It's included in Facebook, so I need to investigate that a little bit more. Once somebody sends you an email to inquire, or a Facebook post, or they've got in touch with you, they phoned you, old-fashioned, they phoned you and got in touch with you, you need to get back to them as soon as possible. Again, making this process really easy for them. If you can do online payments rather than BACS transfers, then that's great. I realise there's a handling fee for doing this, but in this day and age, it just makes life a lot easier for people. Although BACS transfers is very easy for people to do via their online banking that they have now. But again, just think about what is the customer journey that they're taking, and how easy are you making it for them to get to that point where they actually part with cash to give you cash. So make it as easy as possible. So you've made it easy for them to find you and to transact with you. You also need to make sure that you reflect, everything that you do reflects your brand value. So all your communications that you have, so this back and forth when somebody inquires about a product or a service and you go back to them, make sure that everything reflects your brand value, so that, you know, from the look of your emails to the tone of your the language that you use in your emails, does it reflect the brand that you are? So for instance, obviously our lovely Dan Bowes, Mr. Mixologist, crazy. You imagine the way he goes back to you will be in his lovely bubbly sense that he has, whereas somebody like Rachel from R&R Holistics, you can imagine she'll go back in a much calmer way. So just make sure that you're, you know, and they do great, their brand values shine through in everything that they do. So just make sure that that does the same in your communications with your customers, whether that's on your Facebook page, your Instagram feed, the emails you have, your website you have. Just make sure it all has got a nice synergistic feel to it. And then my final tip, really, making it easy for customers to transact with you will increase your sales. Making sure that everything you do reflects your brand values. The reason I've put that one in there is I had experience, I wrote a blog about it, an experience over the summer. We went camping in France, which was wonderful. And we stayed at two very, very different campsites. So the first campsite we stayed at was not really a small, it was quite a big campsite, but it was family run, and you got that vibe the minute you actually entered the campsite. The reception staff were just wonderful, and you got that real homely feel from them. And we had a really great time. And then we travelled down to Lake Annecy, and we stayed at a good, it was a nice campsite as well, but it was a corporate, if you like, corporate campsite. It wasn't, it flagged itself up as a family friendly campsite, which it was, but the reception staff didn't know what were the good family friendly restaurants in the area. They didn't have any ideas to give me when it was a rainy day and I needed some ideas of things to do with the kids that would be suitable for my two young children. And for me, that really annoyed me, because they should really be reflecting the brand values of the company, and they weren't. And it kind of made me think that there's been somebody sloppy in management that hasn't sat down with that reception staff that were probably summer jobs. They were lovely girls and they were there to earn some money for the summer, but that you got that feeling they were just there to earn money. They weren't there to be helpful, which was a real shame. So reflect your brand values. If you do have staff, sit them down and really tell them what your brand values are. So for me, if I ever have staff, it's going to be about, I want to help people. First and foremost, Michelle Dobson did a brilliant post about the This Is Me, her business that she set up and has been running for 6 months. And she hit the nail on the head. It was all about the great feeling that you have inside, that you're really helping somebody, you're really making a difference. And that's something that I've identified is my why, is I want to make a difference to people's lives. And so my brand values reflect that. I've got a big heart on my branding. Can't really see it on my t-shirt at the moment. Got it on my mug here. There you go. So I've got my heart to show people that selling with heart is really important to me, but it comes from my heart. It comes from me wanting to be authentic, and for your own mental health, you've got to be authentic about what you're selling and believe what you're selling. So make sure that your brand values really reflect that. And sorry, I kind of skipped ahead then. The really important one that's going to make sure that you make more money is not forgetting the follow-up. There's a famous quote that I talk about a lot of time, and I say it to a lot of people, but the fortune is in the follow-up. That follow-up can be an automated email, but it's better if it's something a little bit more personal. Even if that customer does not purchase from you this time, if you get their permission, you can keep in touch with them. So it could be something as simple, that's great, fine, you don't want to get this product just now, but is it all right if I get in touch with you in the next 3 months and see whether things have changed for you? And if they say, yeah, that's fine, then great. Make sure you diarise that and get back in touch with them in 3 months' time. But also very important to keep in touch with those clients who have bought from you. So that could be sending them a newsletter, sending them vouchers, sending them offers, VIP offers in the run up to Christmas. I've got another blog that talks about 39 different ways of following up. It doesn't necessarily have to be, hello, will you buy my product? Hello, will you buy my service? It can be very subtle ways of following up. And it is about staying on that person's radar so that the next time they think, oh, I really need some help with sales training, they're going to think, oh, but that Moira Barnes, I met her, and yeah, I'll get in touch with her and find out a little bit more about her. So it's making sure that you don't forget to follow up. So the fortune is in the follow-up. So I've now rambled on for 10 minutes. I hope those 3 tips were really helpful for you. As I say, I'm really looking forward to meeting you at any of the networking events that the Savvies organise, and I wish you all a very prosperous end to the year and prosperous future for your businesses, and we'll meet up soon, I'm sure. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.